All right. Hey, everybody, and happy Forks Friday. You've got Cory and Steven here with you. We've got a special guest we're going to tell you about in just a second. Steven, how the heck is your Friday prior to the Super Bowl Sunday?
Oh, I mean, if you're bringing up Super Bowl Sunday, I am a Philadelphia boy. I am an Eagles fan. So I'm very much looking forward to this Sunday. The joy, the excitement is coming through. We might be getting a little bit of snow here tomorrow. So I'm just looking to be as comfortable and as excited as possible. And a Forks Friday Live is always a wonderful thing to welcome.
Heck yeah. Well, we are streaming live on the Happier Facebook page. Our wonderful partner, Happier Meditation, is a wonderful app. If you haven't heard about it, go check it out in the App Store. And also, we are broadcasting, of course, simulcasting on the Forks Over Knives YouTube and Facebook page as well. And Steven, I'm going to let you introduce our special guest because she deserves the royal intro.
Absolutely. We are going to be talking mindfulness today. That is a word that many of you may have heard. That is a word that many of you may go, I hear it, but I don't even really know what it means. And we're going to talk about that beautiful bridge between mindfulness and everything that we talk about here at Forks Over Knives with diet, with nutrition, with eating. And so let's welcome Dawn Mauricio, our meditation expert from Happier. Hello there, Dawn.
Hi, everyone. Hi, thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. I think that this is so interesting because Cory and I meet with the community on Fridays every once in a while for these Forks Lives, and we talk about a whole bunch of different things, tips, strategies, approaches on how to incorporate a more healthful lifestyle into our day to day. And we do talk about a lot of food. We show a lot of recipes. But this is a really important part of all of that too. It's not just about what are we making, but the how and the why and the what's going on during this. So can you talk to us a little bit more about this idea of mindfulness when it comes to the meals we are making and consuming?
Well, first, let's even back it up a step. And I love what you said about you might have heard what mindfulness is, but don't even really know what it is. Because it's become such a buzzword and it's even sometimes weaponized. Like I know my ex would often say something like, well, were you very mindful about that? But that's a whole other story. And so basically, how I define mindfulness is being aware of the present moment without judgment and without any sort of like an agenda. And we could even bring in qualities of curiosity, which can then lead to maybe some interest and kindness. So to put it all together, it's being aware of the present moment with curiosity and without judgment. So those three kind of things. And then when we, sorry, were you going to say something?
No, it's okay. Keep going.
Okay. And then when we apply that to eating, it's just being aware of whether it's our body, our emotions, our mind, the cues or sensations of our body, and maybe what those might be telling us in regards to eating, not eating, what to eat. Or when we do have something in front of us, whether it's food or drink, it could just be like how much, how little, even just tuning into maybe the speed with which we're eating, the attitude. Sometimes we might be really stressed because we're eating on our work break in front of the computer and we don't really realize it. And then we don't realize how that might impact our digestion and all of that stuff. And so mindfulness just really helps us to slow it all down and to tune into what's going on and what is the current relationship between what we're eating, how we're eating, and the body, mind, and heart, basically.
You know, Dawn, I guess you could call it the stress response or the cortisol response when we're in a public situation and we know that we want to eat a certain way, but the social pressure around us, the friend group around us, food is very personal, right?
Yeah.
So how can you obviously prep when you're alone? You can get in the right mindset. You can really just do some breathing exercises and really just maybe some meditation even to get ready for the moment. But it's very different when you're there and your friends are either pressuring you or they're around you. They don't want to feel alone. They don't want to feel judged. How can you kind of keep the peace within yourself and also externally with your friends when you're in a social situation and they want you to have a beer or try this cheese dip and it's just not your vibe.
Yeah, I feel that. And it's also an ongoing challenge. I think that when we start becoming aware that these are our values and how we might want to bring them into our lives, it's not as if it's like this blanket solution. And so
Mm-hmm.
basically what comes to mind is kind of stealth mindfulness, like I try not to make a big deal out of it, where it's just like I really try to eat mindfully on my own, try to consume mindfully and with intention and in alignment with my values. And then only when, I start getting that pressure from others that I might express it. I don't come in all like, hey, I'm going to be mindful and everyone's got to support it, because then I think that's what really puts people on the defensive for whatever reason. And
Right.
then that's when they want to start pressuring me. But when they do start pressuring me, I just kind of gamify it, because I feel like people just have a harder time when I'm having fun with it, or if I'm playing with it, and I'm not coming at it as like, this is the new me, this is the new like set of rules I'm adhering to, but rather like, hey, this is something I learned, I'm trying out because actually it's kind of fun. When you start noticing this, that, or
Yeah.
the other with food, it makes it all more alive. And so I think when I describe it like that, people might not be able to relate, but they might be able to just enjoy my joy, basically, or my curiosity around it.
I think that those are some really important things that in the stress of the moment, and in a lot of hecticness that goes into learning something new, that we miss out on. You mentioned the words curiosity. We mentioned the words joy. We mentioned the words kindness. These are things that we think of in a lot of different aspects. And I think a lot of times people don't necessarily think of that when they are thinking about food, when they are in the kitchen. It becomes too much like that high pressure Gordon Ramsay. We got to go, we got to cook. The flames are on. I have to make sure this tastes good. This is good. When someone is starting, let's say, a new lifestyle and they have a lot of those stresses which are weighing on them, what are some simple recommendations for incorporating in more of that playful, joyful
Yeah.
approach to bring in more calm and ease to making those changes and hopefully making that experience a more enjoyable one?
Yeah, I would say start small. Always. That's always my recommendation for anyone starting anything new, but in particular in regards to mindfulness.
Yeah.
And so, for example, in order to portray that it's fun and playful and something that you're interested in, it actually has to feel like that.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of trust in this practice that it does have that power, but we have to experiment with it to actually know that for ourselves. And so I would say, like, start on your own, maybe with some snacks, just like really like maybe your afternoon snack of the day or something like that. Or in my house, breakfast is we're kind of like on our own for breakfast. And so that's a time when I could just really experiment with um, eating mindfully my breakfast and seeing how that goes.
Yeah.
And then and playing from there, and then from there it kind of grows, and then it spreads out, and then it's more easy for me to stand behind, like, this is really fun. It's not always fun, but right now it's fun for me, or something like that, and to bring that into the social situations.
I want to talk about when things don't go perfectly for you, Don. Not just you specifically, but anyone. I find that folks that specifically are transitioning to a plant-based diet, or they want to do whole food, plant-based, 100%. I've got to do all green light foods all the time, or else I'm failing, right? And so I always talk about this story of a friend of mine who ate a bag of Doritos, not a whole bag, it was a little sampler bag, maybe 300 calories, okay, whatever. And he was trying to do a plant-based diet, but he ate the bag of Doritos and he just beat himself up. Negative
Mhm.
self-talk. Why am I even doing this? I can't even, adhere to, a week of this. And what are some tactics to help combat that negative self-talk that all of us are capable of, to help us kind of start anew and know that each day is kind of its own thing? What
Yeah.
tips do you have when that happens?
I would even back that up. And instead of saying each day we could start anew, it's each moment we can start anew.
Mm,
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I really love about mindfulness. It's about being aware of the moment. And so in that sense, every moment is a new opportunity. And one of these things, it's a Buddhist quality, and I mentioned Buddhism because that's the roots of mindfulness, but this Buddhist quality of investigation. But sometimes some teachers can playfully call it postmortem mindfulness. And so
mm.
basically we could have this moment of like, let's take this Dorito bag, where it was a moment of mindlessness. We just lapsed. And it was mostly probably because of habit. We saw this thing. I know, for example, for me, when something is free, all my values suddenly go out the window. It's like I see free food, and then, anyways, and so then when I do have a moment of mindfulness again, which could be just shortly after or way later, it doesn't matter when, I could look, I could reflect back on that moment and think, wow, okay, so I saw free food, I reacted, I went into my old pattern. And that's just what happens. That's normal. That's okay. And I'm going to try and put the radar out for the
Yep.
next time I'm around free sample size of Dorito bags. And so it's like a way to reflect back. Yeah, we didn't get the mindfulness then. We weren't perfect, but can it be okay because we're going to try again next time? And just a note that even though we try again next time, we might get it next time.
It's
Then
true.
the next few times, we might not. And
Right.
then we try again, and so it's not like this linear path either, but it's really about meeting every opportunity, every moment with newness or with possibility instead of being like, well, the day's a waste. Let me start again tomorrow or something like that.
It's just it's so wonderful to hear it. I think even just this conversation brings a greater sense of calm and also simplification to all of this. It's not about right, it's not about wrong. It is about the intention that's behind it. And as we know, with consistency, even if we've had poor habits over time, we always have the opportunity to create new ones and let go of the ones that do not serve us. Karen from Miami is saying this is so helpful because she's been really hard on herself lately. And Karen, we know exactly what you're talking about. It's amazing to think that when we get caught in those negative thoughts and that critical voice, how it feels like it is forever. And yet all it takes is that little that pinhole of sunlight, right? Of that light to go, I'm making a more positive choice. I am finding joy, curiosity, openness, and how that can turn the tides immediately and immensely in so many ways. And this has been just a wonderful, I feel like, Cory, a great new conversation when it comes to talking about our dietary lifestyle and food, of bringing mindfulness in. And that is one of the main reasons why Forks Over Knives is partnering up with Happier, and why we have Dawn here today to chat with us. Dawn, can you tell us a little bit more in the community, mainly if they don't know about Happier, what Happier is all about, and how they can use it to incorporate in some of the things we've been talking about today with their food choices?
Yeah, so Happier is an amazing meditation app. Of course, I'm biased. I'm one of the contributors on the
Yeah.
app, but I wholeheartedly think that it's just so well designed, and the teachers that they bring in are highly trained, highly skilled. So it's just all around this amazing app, and it's a mindfulness based app. However, all of the teachers, like I mentioned, are highly trained, where we have decades of experience. And so you're in good hands, basically. And you could pop into the meditation app, whether it's just something that you want a daily, based on how you feel per day, or if it's something maybe like a course you're looking for. So there is a course, for example, on intuitive eating. There's
Mm-hmm.
also a course that I co-taught around work stress or work-life balance. So there are, or how to stress better, etc. So there are specific courses you can take, or a whole area for if you have trouble sleeping, because we know how that can also impact our
Yes.
mindfulness and food choices and all of that stuff. So there's a whole plethora of ways that you can just deepen your connection with yourself in this whole being sort of way through the app. And so I highly encourage y'all to check it out if you haven't already.
That's wonderful. Cory, can you tell us how we can find that through Forks Over Knives, including this amazing article that Dawn wrote that is all about embracing mindful eating?
Yeah, this video is actually embedded on a blog post, or will be embedded on a blog post after we're done. And you're looking at it right there over on the Happier site. Thanks to Michael, our producer, for putting that up. So it's called Embracing Mindful Eating. And if you just go to Google and type mindful eating and happier, you're going to find the article. But it's over on Happier's website as well, which is meditatehappier.com. And then, of course, if you want to try or get started on a whole food plant-based diet, you can head over to forksoverknives.com and look for Start Here. And we're going to walk you through step by step if you're a beginner. But this is where that article lives. And it's a wonderful piece. Dawn, thanks so much for writing it and for spending a couple minutes with us here. We're so happy to have you. And it was a lot of fun.
It was really great to chat about this because these are all things that I kind of have put together in my own life or walk around with. And then it's just so helpful to share it with others, basically.
Awesome. Well, all right, everybody, we're gonna take us out and just say thank you for tuning in for Forks Friday, and thank you for Dawn being here, and we will see you next time. Thanks, everybody.
Yes, maybe some Mindful Mondays in the future, Cory. We will see, although we can, of course, do it every day. Thanks, Dawn. Good to see you, Cory.
Bye, guys.